Hi, hello, and welcome, or welcome back, I suppose. Today's read is one that's been on my radar for some time, but I've never managed to get around to it. However, a few weeks ago, I was reminded of it with a review on the back of Winter in Sokcho, which, yeah, I can see why a comparison would be drawn between the two. Also, when I was reserving this from my library, one of the tags was something like autism friendly or something akin to that, which did pique my interest, and oh boy, I can see why that tag is fitting. I may not be diagnosed with autism, but I am diagnosed with ADHD, and my assessor for that did tell me that there was a high chance of that being the case, and, you know, I do have the peer review of many an autistic friend. But I will be using the catch-all term of neurodivergent throughout to avoid talking completely out of my backside. And also, I'm not an expert. I am just talking from experience and the way that I live. Please do not take anything I talk about in that area as anything kind of concrete. I'm talking from experience and from what I understand. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about an absolute gem of a book with Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. And immediately I was warmed to the way this is written with our introductory passage. A convenience store is a world of sound. From the tinkle of the door chime to the voices of the TV celebrities advertising new products over the in-store cable network, to the calls of the store workers, the beeps of the barcode scanner, the rustle of customers picking up items and placing them in baskets, and the clacking of heels walking around the store. It all blends into the convenience store sound that ceaselessly caresses my eardrums. Oh, I just found that so utterly delightful, a mundane cacophony that to our lead Keiko is the most calming music to her ears. And it didn't take me long to realise why this book is so popular with neurodivergent people, why it had that tag, especially to those who crave routine, which from what I understand is more of an autistic trait than it is something like ADHD or ADD. But we're walked through Keiko checking off her to-do list, as it were, until she clocks the jingle of coins in a pocket, often a sign of someone waiting by the till to buy cigarettes. Even if each day is not perfectly the same, it is a pretty set type of routine, and things run in an expected way 9 times out of 10. There aren't too many surprises, and she gets to be the perfect machine cog, which keeps her ticking along really nicely. She has this almost symbiotic relationship with the store, which becomes a source of heartbreak, actually, towards the end for both me and Keiko. This book, at its core, really is about what it means to be normal and why in God's name does that matter. And it's Keiko's connection to working at this place, which is often the outward sign that she is not the norm. She's a 30-something working a part-time retail job with no real need for anything else. Especially in this book, we're looking at that other things being marriage and kids. It's not a worry for her that she is not to be wed or not to be a mother, but to her friends and family, there's something that ought to be fixed with her, and that's been true since childhood, well before the store came into her life. She's someone who has never really understood why things work the way they do, or general expectations placed on her and others around her. A big part of that is quite sort of literal thinking and actions taken because of that, which doesn't show itself in the best ways when she's at school, but it can't really be helped. There's an incident where 2 boys are fighting at school. She's in primary school, so if this were the UK, she would be under 11, and I presume that that is a similar age in Japan. At the very least, she's a young girl here. I can't recall if they actually say her age, but there are two boys fighting, and somebody says that somebody has to stop it. Now, the expected intuition there is to go and get a teacher who will come back and help. But she goes, well, this needs to be stopped. So she goes to a nearby shed, gets a shovel, and conks one of the boys on the head. Because her brain goes, this has to be stopped. I know a way I can stop it. And no, that isn't the ideal, but it's how her brain logically reaches a conclusion, because they didn't say somebody needs to go and get a teacher to help. They said somebody needs to go and help. And though her parents seem to say they want the best for her, they do want to try to cure whatever is quote unquote wrong with her. And that did get to me. But if you don't have the awareness for that kind of thing, then maybe you would just assume it's sort of more akin to something like mental illness instead of neurodivergence, if that makes sense. And her sister does try to help, but it's clear that help is very much an appearances thing more than anything else. She wants Keiko to look normal to the outside world, and she does want her to be normal as well, but looking normal is kind of, she wants her to mask basically as well as she can. When Keiko's younger, the convenience store really helps with that, but eventually that stops being normal because she's older and only part-time in a job that is less accepted for that. It's accepted if you're a student, if you're a teenager, maybe if you're in a management position there, a full-time position there, it's different, but as a part-timer, that's not meant to be a job for her. Also, the idea of part-time in Japan is absolutely insane. When they said part-time, she's working a 9 to 5, 5 days a week, and that's part-time, seemingly. I did think that, but maybe that's me misreading. I'm not sure, but she's enjoying herself. But this book is so good at exploring the differences in thought patterns of neurotypical and neurodivergent people. It's clear Keiko's constantly questioning the world around her and the expectations put on her. None of it makes sense. Then she's in the convenience store. There is order there, and the expectations make perfect sense to her, which, yeah, you have a job, a routine, a set idea of what's supposed to happen and why. It makes sense. You stock the shelves full of hot food when it's cold because that's what people are going to buy. You stock the shelves full of cold food when it's hot because that's what people are going to buy. There's order to things. It makes sense. And because it isn't clear to people around her that she's neurodivergent, instead of just thinking that she's weird, they make so many assumptions about her, well beyond that of neurotypical people. Everybody has expectations on them, obviously, but we cannot follow the same thought patterns and pathways. I, as a neurodivergent person, I'm never going to be able to follow the same thought patterns and pathways as somebody who's neurotypical. But God forbid that be the case. And it's so hard to explain those frustrations. But this book does it so well by just showcasing someone trying to navigate it and trying to make it look like she wants to follow their thoughts too. Yeah, there's a general societal expectation of wanting marriage, kids, a good job, a good house. But Keiko is seen as so weird because she's at a convenience store. And she's happy to be like that with no real other aspirations whatsoever. She's happy, but apparently that isn't enough. When we talk about wanting aspirations for ourselves, happiness is often the goal. If I get this job, then I'll be happy. If I live this life, I'll be happy. But she is happy, But that's not enough. She has to be normal to the world, whatever that means. And when she does try to get her life in a way that has a veneer of the normal, it becomes a nightmare for her. Though the man she has to make that happen with is certainly something we'll cover in a minute, because fuck me, that man is... Anyway, but her co-workers are just talking at her about that man. And she's so clearly not wanting that and just wanting to get on with her work. And she has a task that she is trying to do. And she's trying to say, there is this task. These items need to go out. And everyone's like, oh, why does that matter? Come on, just talk to us about this. And she's like, I have a task I'm trying to do. Will you let me get on with it? Like, sure, neurodivergent people often can't read the room. It's an unfortunate fact, but it's true. But I swear neurotypical people sometimes just won't read the room, and it's so infuriating, and Murata picks up on that so well. But like I said, there is more to this book than just the neurodivergence exploration. There's also a weird little incel that we need to talk about, because oh my god, what an annoying little ball bag. There's a new guy that starts at the store, Shiraha, and at first he just seems like he isn't taking his job seriously enough. Like, he's kind of just bumming around, he keeps going on his phone, he isn't organizing things properly, but it becomes apparent very quickly that he's just a bellend. He's a 35-year-old man complaining about how society's so much better for women, and it's been the same way since the Stone Age. And if I can live like this, like, ugh, he's a pathetic, creepy little stalker who manages to worm his way into Keiko's apartment after getting himself fired from the store for being a stalker to a customer. Like, his views are disgraceful. The way he talks about women, the way he talks about, like, oh, there's all these societal expectations for this reason and that reason, and it's just like, this man just wants to leech off Keiko, taking advantage of the fact that she has a want to appear normal, and that's what he says he wants as well. But in doing so, he robs her of the most important thing. Well, a part-time convenience store job can't pay for two people to live comfortably, can it? Well, he could get a job, but will he? No. He wants to sit inside, complain about literally everything, and refuse to not only get a job, but refuses to get a modicum of self-awareness and realise that he may, in fact, be the problem. It's so infuriating. At no point does he just look inwards and go, maybe I'm the arsehole. Like, him taking that job from her is the heartbreak I was talking about earlier. She becomes unable to function because she has lost her routine. I was already wanting this motherfucker gone every time I saw him, heard from him, or even just heard about him. But then he takes away her very essence. It becomes clear in the scene I was also talking about earlier, where her co-workers keep asking her about this man, that he is actively ruining her life. Where the sound and atmosphere of the store used to be a comfort to her, as we saw right at the start there, in that moment it changes and can no longer offer what it once did. And that is exclusively because of him. Because things ran in a way that she could expect. And now, when she's pretending that she's sort of quote-unquote normal to the outside world's expectations, people talk to her about everything and they keep asking her questions, and it's just constantly wanting to know more, want to know more, whereas previously she could just get on with it and do her job and have her routine. But no, not anymore, and it's him. He's taken that from her. But, spoiler alert I guess, it becomes clear at the end that she is on the path to finding herself again, when she decides that no, she is a convenience store woman, and that is just a matter of fact. And while we don't see it, I like to believe that after what we see in the book, she absolutely gets rid of this man, and thank fuck for that. I want nothing but the best for Keiko, and if that means life in a convenience store until that's no longer possible, then that's what she bloody well deserves. I loved this book so much, and it really gets life as a neurodivergent person, especially those who crave routine and a very rigidly dependable lifestyle. I feel such a kinship, but my love goes beyond the fact that I feel like I can put myself in the book, because that isn't what makes a good or bad book. The writing style is gorgeous. It's quite simple, but very effective. And I think it just clicks something in my brain. Like, things are just happening, and we're going from A to B to C, and it's nice. Everything flows along. Like, this is very slice of life. This is just that. This is just somebody's life. And it's so beautifully written. Now, sometimes the dialogue feels a little bit stilted, but that could be translation as much as anything else. So I don't hold that against it too much. And Murata encapsulates the type of man Shiraha is so bloody well. He's deeply infuriating for so many reasons, but the key one being that he does not know how to do any kind of self-reflection because he's deeply repulsive. But yeah, big video next week. We're finally getting the Bad Red Book Club back together. We're going to be looking at some dystopian teen/YA fiction, and it's one you may not have heard of. But do let me know what books you've read that warm a neurodivergent heart. I'm open to all genres and forms, so pop something in the comments below. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe, and feel free to ring that notification bell, all the cringe shit I'm supposed to ask you to do in my videos. But most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take good care of yourself. Right.